So I wanted to go back over some of the basics of options and kind of start from the beginning here. And one of the most confusing images you'll come across on any options trading course. And it took me, I will say, probably a year to fully grasp the concept of this, of what this image is showing here. You know, you have your calls and your puts, and you're long a call or put, or you're short a call and a put, and what direction that is implying in the market. But I think the big thing to remember is that as an option buyer, you have rights, and as an option premium seller, you have obligations. So a better image to explain this is this one here. So if you're buying calls, you have the right to buy 100 long shares. If you're selling calls, you have the obligation to sell 100 short shares. Now, if you're buying puts, you have the right to sell 100 short shares. And if you're selling a put, you have the obligation to buy 100 long shares. So I know that's confusing. Don't think too heavy on this, but maybe come back and look at this image or download this image. It's a little bit easier to understand when you're actually looking in the options chain, and I'll explain that in the next part. All right, so let's go a little bit more in depth in what that image represents. So first off, if you wanted to go long 100 shares of Apple, you'd come over here and you'd hit the ask. On any of your platforms, you hit the ask to go long. If you wanted to go short, you would hit the bid. So if I wanted to go short 100 shares of Apple, I would hit the bid. Now let's go to the options table here. And we're looking at the left-hand column is going to show your call side. The right-hand column is going to show the put side. And the lighter areas here, these lighter gray, is showing options contracts that are in the money. The darker gray is showing options contracts that are out of the money. So these are out of the money, and these are out of the money. Now, if you wanted to buy a call, you'd hit the ask side. If you wanted to sell a call, you'd hit the bid side. If you wanted to buy a put, you'd hit the ask side. If you wanted to sell a put, you'd hit the bid side. So let's say we wanted to go long the market. We were long and we wanted to buy the 155 call here, 155 strike call here. What we're doing is we're paying $11.15 for this contract. So the most we can lose in this contract is $11.15, and our max loss is $1,115. So it's multiplied by 100. Now, if the price goes down, so you see where our max loss is. If the price goes up, we can make an infinite amount of profit. Now, say we're short the market, we want to go short the market, we would buy a put. So we'd come over to the ask side of the puts, we're going to buy the 170 put for $7.55. So now I need the stock price to go down. My max loss is still $7.55, or the debit paid for the contract. And the debit is, what I'm doing is I'm buying the right to own 100 shares at 170 bucks. So at expiration, I would buy the right to own 170, or I would buy the right to own 100 short shares at $170. Now the most I can lose is $7.55. Now each day that passes, so I pay this debit of $7.55. Each day that passes, I'm losing value. This $7.55 is losing value in the form of theta decay. I am paying a premium. So now let's look at the option premium seller. So say I wanted to go long the market as an option premium seller. Now it's opposite of what we were doing there. Now I'm going to look to sell a put. So I'm going to look to sell the 155 put for $1.13 here. So now I need the price to stay above this range. If it comes below 155 at expiration, I will be put 100 long shares at $155. So my max profit is $113, but each day that passes, I'm now collecting a premium of $5.52 in the form of theta decay. The most I can lose is $15,387 if the price of the stock goes to zero. And that's where we usually cap our loss with a defined risk credit spread. Now, if I wanted to go short the market, it would be the opposite. So I'd come over here to the call side and I would hit the bid. So say I wanted to short the 175 call here. So what would happen at expiration is if the price of this expired at 185, my shares would get called away. I would now own 100 short shares at $175. I would be short the market at 175 bucks. But the most I can make on this trade is $1.24. And every day that passes, I'm collecting about $6.04 in theta decay. Now my max loss is indefinite because the price can go up infinitely. And I believe that's everything I need to go over with that. All right, so let's go over the key differences between option premium sellers and option premium buyers. So typically as an option premium seller, I want my contracts to expire out of the money in this dark gray area. As an option premium buyer, I want my contracts to expire in the money. That's where they're most profitable. Now, say that I'm long the market, I'm long Apple, I'm an option premium seller. Well, I want to sell the 160 put here for $2.37. So what that looks like, I have a max loss of $15,000 and I want to cap my risk to the downside. So then I'm going to look to create a 5-point wide spread, and I'm going to buy the 155 put here for $1.21. And what this looks like is I'm selling the 160 put for $2.38 and I'm buying the 155 put for $1.20. So the difference between that's about $1.18. So now my max loss is capped at $382, and I'm collecting $1.18 in credit. I'm also collecting $1.64 in theta decay each day. Now, as an option premium buyer, say we want to go long, we're still long Apple. Now we're going to long the 165 call here for $4.25. We're going to cap our max profit potential, but we're going to lower our risk of $425. So we're going to sell the call. So now we're only paying $190 for this debit spread. And the problem with this is now we're also paying, this debit spread is losing value in the form of theta decay of 67 cents a day. Our max profit's a little bit more, our max loss is a little bit less. Our probabilities have changed, but we've capped our max profit and capped our max loss. We've lowered our loss potential. And that's really the key difference between these debit spreads. They really just change your probability of profit. The big thing to remember is, as an option premium seller, you're basically you're collecting a credit. You're the insurance agent collecting a premium to hold on to X amount of risk. And you're collecting a premium each day to hold on to that risk. All right, so I wanted to go over the math in the simplest way possible. So I pull up my whiteboard here. So say that we're looking at a credit spread now. We are short the 910 put, and we are long the 905 put. This is a 5-point wide spread. Say we got paid, we collected a $5 credit for the 910 put, and we paid a $3 debit for the 905 put. The difference between that is $2. So the credit received is $2. Our max loss is the spread width minus the credit received, or $3. So the most we can lose on this trade is $3. The most we can make on this trade is $2. This is for the credit spread. Now let's look at a debit spread as just the opposite. So say that you are long a 910 call and short a 915 call. And this is still a 5-point wide spread. You paid $5 for the 910 call, and you sold the 915 call for $3. So the difference between that is $2, and you take the 5-point wide spread minus the debit paid, or $2 for $3. And this gives you your max profit is now $300, and your max loss is the debit paid, or $2.